You had to be a very well-weathered Talmud Chacham to understand halacha. The Mishna Berura, he made it available even for the masses. I mean, people who, not masses, made it available to anybody who has any ability to learn to some degree, that he's able to understand what the halacha is in an accurate way. Before, you have Mogen Avram, you have a Taz, you have the commentators. It's not so simple. Then you have commentaries. Couldn't. You had a Rav in the community. Everything was a Shiloh. You had extra Shiloh. That's where originally the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch came out. That's the code of laws, which is very abbreviated. Without any really background. Just says this is this, you do this, just follow instruction.
So now people probably assume, hey, I can look it up just like anybody else.
But what do you mean they could? No. The ones who learn this, understand and appreciate what they don't understand. Before you didn't even begin understanding. Before you knew nothing, so of course everything was a shiloh. You asked the question. That's why every town, every village had a Rav. And people, they would ask it, they ask the question. They had no choice. What? Before. It came out before the Mishna Berura.
So might be
Not Aruch HaShulchan.
No, I know, but Aruch HaShulchan was written around the same time.
Same time. A little after.
So
Panovich Rav helped him put it out. Panovich Rav helped the Aruch HaShulchan put it out. He would work with. Yeah. Who? Aruch HaShulchan was after the Mishna Berura. Or I mean, they overlap, but because he doesn't quote this kind of source. He goes back to the sources. Okay.
Sex might be a thing against us. That it's available. Whereas the old days, if you want to educate, you could learn.
Look, today everything's available. Everything's available.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. So now everything's available.
Okay. You're talking to the wrong guy here. Okay. Okay, we're over here. We're holding hay. Just in the Mechaber, we didn't do the Mishna Berura yet. Yordu Yushamim. If you're in the sukkah and then it started to rain, Hareze Nichnos Toch HaBoyis. One goes into his house. When are you permitted to leave the sukkah to go into one's house? If it rains to the degree that if you have a tafshil, something cooked, and the rain goes into your food, it would actually make the food inedible. Afil tafshil pool, even if it's a tafshil made of beans, which it's affected negatively to a small degree, it's mostly affected, you're already able to go. That's mitzdayer. Hagor, va'afilein atavshel fonov, even if he doesn't have the bean soup in front of him. Mishein boki b'zeh asher yisharim yerdu kol kach sham lebaisim ho yotzei yetzim sukosu gamkein. That if it would rain to this degree in your house, if you'd have this leak, you'd leave that room. So similarly, if it rains to that degree in the sukkah, you have a right to leave the sukkah. Okay, this is where we left off. We didn't do any Mishna Berura yet. Chozeh dafke b'shar yomim olei l'shel sukkos. We spelled mitzdayer that you're permitted to leave the sukkah. That's the other days or any other night of sukkahs. Avo b'laylo rishona. No. What about the first night that we said that we have the Gzera Shova, tesvav tamatzah, that we say it's an obligation? Tzorach lechol kazayis basukah, afim kshavim yordim. Even if it's raining, even though you're in a state of mitzdayer, the kazayis must be eaten. That's the position of the Ramah. Tur haran varosh. The Kaddish besukah kadesh yomar zman al sukkah. And he says Kiddush in the sukkah that he should be able to say Shechianu on the sukkah. It's open the first night. Okay, let's see the Mishna Berura. Yorduk Shomim, Kshem Shemefanim Nehak Shomim, Kach Mefanim Nehashrov V'Yitushim. Just as you're permitted to vacate the sukkah if it's raining, identically, if let's say it becomes overwhelmingly hot, it's so hot you can't tolerate the heat. you're permitted to leave the sukkah. What are Yitushim, let's say insects, right? And the insects make it intolerable to the sukkah, you leave. Let's say the person's not mitzvah, but you can't eat the food. Because of the heat condition, the food spoils in the sukkah. It's so cold, the food is congealing. That's how cold it is. He's permitted to go in the house to eat the food, and afterwards he comes out into the sukkah because he has sufficient clothing to keep him warm. Once he goes into house to eat the meal, where the food is congealing, he's permitted to stay in the house till he finishes the meal, although the other courses, he's able to eat those courses in the sukkah. Because once you go to eat the meal, you can remain in the house for the meal. If it's raining, and you went in, the first course, it's impossible to eat the sukkah because it's raining. After the first course, it stops raining. You have no obligation to go back to the sukkah until you finish the suda. You continue, you finish the suda in the house. Says, what happens if you're able to, without great difficulty, you're able to prepare the food in a way that they shouldn't congeal. You put it into a pot where you have hot water underneath. So the hot water keeps it that it shouldn't congeal. So if it could be done with relatively not great difficulty, you should arrange it to do that. That's the Gemara. Let's say as the wind is blowing and you have the various needles of the pine needles, they fall into the food or fall onto you. And they fall into the food. He's very particular. And it's something he can't tolerate. Because of his level of sensitivity, of what he's used to, since he can't tolerate, he's permitted. That's called mitzvah. Mitzvah is something which is totally subjective to the person himself. Tipos. To what degree does it have to rain? What about this part of the sukkah you're sitting in? Let's say the sukkah covering, the schach is thicker. At the other end of the sukkah, it's dripping into the sukkah. Do you have a right to leave the sukkah? Well, if I'd be sitting there, I'd leave. But you're not sitting there. You have to sit there. Until it starts raining it on his table where he's sitting, his location. He is. Good question. I think it's based on tircha. Let's say you walk in, you haven't set the table yet, and you go to another part of the sukkah. Then you should definitely go to another part of the sukkah.
So here the sukkah, you're hosting people. So you're sitting, and it's okay. By the other part of the table, the other people cannot really sit. It's skipping or whatever. You just make Kiddush mostly and you go inside. If you can't fit the people in under the popular area.
Okay. He said that if you don't have the food there to determine whether it's raining sufficiently, if you'd be in your house and you'd have a similar situation, would you leave the room? Then you have a right to leave the sukkah. Right? That's what Ramos said. If you'd be hosting people in your house and you're the host, what would you do? You'd find another location. Because what kind of host are you? So that's the way you'd probably do it in the sukkah too. If everybody's eating individually, I have nothing to do with anyone else. It's a communal sukkah. But over here, if you're the host, I mean, what? The people are going to go and you're going to remain in the sukkah, so what kind of host are you? So since in a similar situation in the house, you'd behave similarly, you would leave to find another location, you're permitted to leave the sukkah. You said two different. Wait a minute, you're saying six things simultaneously. You understand? You said at this A, B, C. Let's talk about A before we get to down to Z. We're not holding by Z yet. No, but Yossi is addressing something else. Let's talk about the Mishna Berura says. He says, the question is, why not? Presently, he says you should remain in the sukkah and eat there because it hasn't yet started to rain in your part of the sukkah yet. He says, not only that, not only should you remain, maybe you're even able to say the bracha. Why shouldn't you say the bracha? If you're supposed to remain, so evidently you're not mitzvah. So if you're not mitzvah, of course you should say the bracha. Yet he says, Yaakov. He says, he's in instance that even though it hasn't yet started to rain at his table, but since he sees it's coming his way and the location is not comfortable and it disturbs him, he's permitted to go in. Definitely not to be borich. I think the concept, what the efshir is, because even if you're not in this, could be the sukkah being in a state where it's not really appropriate. No, where you are, it's still okay, but it's dripping. It's not a comfortable situation. So it's not a first-class mitzvah, but to say a bracha, maybe you shouldn't.
Isn't it also about how long it's going to stay in the sukkah? Maybe.
What difference is that? Let me ask a question. Let's say it's clear it's going to stop raining in 5 minutes. It hasn't started raining yet. Right. Do you have to remain? Definitely you have to remain.
Right, of course, that's right.
But it's only 5 minutes. Right. So, I'm going with you.
It's about the shear of food. Say the bracha on the...
There you would say bracha leishi basukah.
So you don't say the bracha on food, right?
No, we're talking about he's in the middle of a meal here. He's washed. He has bread here. There's a regular meal. Where you're sitting, the rain hasn't dripped through yet. The other end of the sukkah, it's already dripping in. So he says you should stay in the sukkah. Regarding bracha, he says it's a question. It's not simple. Right. So what about it? What about 5 minutes? Like I said, it's about to rain. It's thundering, lightning. It seems to be, for what he's saying here, he says if you're in this and it bothers you, even though it's not raining at your end of the sukkah yet, but still it disturbs you. You feel it's not really.
When everybody's leaving the sukkah, you're the only guy left.
No. Nobody. We're talking about nobody's in the sukkah. Nobody's there. Manavshach. If you can't say the bracha, it's a suffix that writes the other way too. If you're mitzvah, you're not permitted to be there, right? If you're not permitted to be, so you should go in. For the same reason why you can't say the bracha, you shouldn't be able to be permitted to remain. That's what I'm saying. Are you permitted to say the bracha? We're saying. So I'm saying, so if you can't say the bracha, that means it's not an appropriate sukkah. It's called mitzvah. Is it called mitzvah or not mitzvah? I understand that, but what's the yardstick? If the yardstick's mitzvah, so then you shouldn't remain there. If it's not mitzvah, then you should say the bracha. I hear what you're saying, but you have to understand what exactly is the determining factor. Shulpul says, what type of food does the rain have to affect? Bean soup, even a small amount of water drips into the soup, it's enough that it ruins the food. You can't eat it. It becomes inedible. Avalaylo, now the Ramo says, what about if it's the first night? That even if a person is in a state of discomfort, you have to eat a gzais in the sukkah. The time it came, the gamrin it's a bona fide gzerah, as you have to eat the matzah regardless of what your state may be. Identically, you have to eat the gzais of bread regardless of what the situation may be. Ma'osa b'chol gavli chayov. Pesukos king. Just as at the Seder night, you have to eat that kazayis matzah, regardless of what your state is. Over here, regardless. V'dadi yishod bigdolei rishom shvilei d'gzer shavo lav lo chiyasyo. Dein l'chalik bin lai rishon l'shar yomim v'al kedi chriuk kam achronim daftem chuyiv lecho b'asuka mach mesofek b'chas leishe b'suka le'ivorich. He says it's a question. So regarding eating, you have to eat. Savik dorais l'chumrah. But regarding brocha, sav brochas lokil. The sav brochas lokil, od kosvu, the roi lahamtir at chatzos halaylo penyavar ageshim. You should wait until midnight. Maybe the rain will pass. The miyava yikonis lasuk vorch beis leisha basuk v'yochal. The Joseph mitzvesesi kuli almo. Okay. It's not accurate. It's not accurate even to the half hour.
They say the shower should be gone by 8 o'clock.
It could be by 8:30.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. But
okay.
You have to midnight basically till.
Not a problem. You're right. If the forecast is accurate. Usually it is. Recently it is. Okay, let's see the Chovos HaLevavos. You have to eat something, and you have to eat something which is grain product, and you have to eat a certain shear. No. Definitely. This we had before. But even a grain, it's not simple. You have to eat a certain amount. And if it's less, it's a combination of many things. He said if you have, let's say, a piece of cake with something to drink, even if you eat a beyo, person that wants a cup of coffee and a Danish in the morning, it's not simple you say bracha. Because you're not eating enough. Right? You're not eating enough. Because bread is more than a beya, but a piece of cake is a lot more than that. You don't bench on that. So he says you should stay a little bit longer. So therefore, it's a combination of eating and you're sitting and time. Then you could say Leisha Basuka. That's what he said.
So you just make chametz on the first night and you don't bench it out?
Yeah. Right. But you have to eat exercise. Okay, we're holding Shara Avas Hashem.